Thank you.
Yeah. And it's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Thomas.
Right? Pleasure to meet you too.
Yeah.
It's nice talking to you with like a voice and not over the internet with typing.
Yeah. How many hundreds of people do you think you have that kind of relationship with?
Oh, geez, probably about 500 people. Other than that, I just hear up in North Dakota
Yeah.
all along, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's nice to chat with people, but it's nice to speak with people a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel that a lot. There's no doubt that you've been in, you know, the whole online thing is what is one ballpark, but then vaping is a whole, a whole nother world as well, I feel. And, I'm so new to it that it's been a really fast, like, here's all these friends and here's all this support, you know?
Right? It's crazy. I'm normally like a homebody,
Yeah.
and so to have this whole community that just gives their utmost support to you is crazy
Yeah.
and fantastic and frightening sometimes.
But all at the same time, I totally agree.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in my life, not that I want to take away from your story, but I had that, like I was like, I could count all my friends on one hand, like I was homebody, all that situation. Here's everything online, and now everyone knows you, and or
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, everybody knows you. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you have a big like group of vaping friends locally there to you, or
I pretty much I have two that are like vapey friends. One of them kind of showed me vaping differently than what I was used to. Because when I started with the little e-cig cartridge that I bought from China for way too much money,
yeah,
and it was kind of all right, but it didn't do much. And then he showed me, hey, you can go online and you can buy these sub tanks and everything like that. And it's like, oh, cool. And then
yeah,
I got my buddy vaping, who he's been smoking for 40 plus years.
40?
So
Yeah,
yeah, 40 years.
yeah,
And he was 3 packs a day
shit,
of the long ones.
yeah, hundreds.
So yeah, so he wasn't playing around.
Yeah,
So I got him vaping. So I got two people, and they're kind of close to me. But other than that, not a whole lot.
yeah, and you have partner, right?
Hmm?
You have a partner, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep. I have a wife. She doesn't smoke. She doesn't vape.
yep,
She got pregnant with our first child and just quit.
yeah, right.
She just, I'm done. I no clue how she did that.
Yeah, my wife did that as well. She was like, "I'm done, I'm done."
And it wasn't pick one up here and there. No, just done.
Yeah,
It confused me and amazed me because I couldn't do that.
yeah. Did she talk about the like the crave though? Like, even my wife did that a couple of years later and then admitted that there are times when those triggers happen for her and she's like, I get that crave, and whether it's like we call it the ghosting crave.
Yeah. No, she hasn't wanted one. She hasn't said that she had any cravings. She's just done with it.
Yeah, women power.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely amazed me.
yeah. Because I know you're a Titan guy, is that right? Like you have lots of
Yeah.
Titans, and a bit like me. If you
Yeah.
find something you like, then that's what you stay with. So, are there things
Yeah.
online that excite you, or is it how does that happen for you?
It's some of the online community, and well, it's actually a lot of the online community.
Yeah,
Just talking to people and getting to help whenever I can, that just makes me want to go even further.
Yeah.
When you see that comment like, "Hey, I'm having problems with this," and if I can help, I'll definitely jump in and help.
Yeah. 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 I guess it's like you learn a lot very quickly, and then So how long have you been vaping? I guess that's a question.
I've been vaping for about 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years I've
Yeah.
been vaping.
But head first into it effectively after you got shown different than a cigarette situation.
Exactly, because I tried Chantix at first,
Yeah.
and that 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 was bad stuff. I went through pretty much every bad side effect I had.
Yeah.
I turned into an angry, violent person, and I hated it. So I that's when I bought the first little Cigalike, and I kind of liked it. I kind of got it, but then I got shown, hey, there's more you can do.
Yeah.
And then I saw the sub tank, and then I saw rebuildables. And as soon as I saw rebuildables, I was done.
Did it scare you though to be thinking? Because I had that kind of scary feeling, like when I went from a sub-ohm tank to like, okay, I can build now, but whether I take that step or not. Was that scary for you?
It was scary at first because a lot of like the questions that I had is like, what can I build on this battery and be safe?
Yeah.
And a lot of the answers that I got was, oh, well, I use this on mine. And it's like a point 0.1 or a 0.08. And it's
Yeah.
like, but is that safe? Well, that's what I use.
Yeah. That's not the
Uh,
question I asked you.
I don't care if that's what you use. I just want to know if it's safe.
Yeah.
And if it's not safe, then show me what's safe. And then I found this 24 gauge 6 wrap around a 2 millimeter. You're good.
Yeah.
You can run that on any battery, any single battery mech. You're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And I stuck with that for the longest time.
Yeah. So 5 years, well, 4 or 5 years ago, a building on a mech was like your first situation there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Building on a mech, I actually still have my first mech and RDA that I built on.
Nice.
It's back there in my closet. It's just a little bit of a reminder. But Watovo clone with a Freak Show Mini was
Okay.
my first rebuildable.
Yeah.
So I loved it. And if I can rebuild and not have to buy coils,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. I may have done a little. I guess you got to be careful when you use the word stalking these days online. But I did happen to find a little video of you doing Fuse Clapton. Is that right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I always had people ask, well, how do you do your Fuse Claptons? And I try to explain. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do a video and just show everybody how I do it.
Yep.
And technically, I don't wrap them. They just wrap themselves. You just got to get it started, and then it just goes.
Yep. Exactly.
And then I don't know. That's full of Fuse Claptons because I just sit here and build when I'm bored.
Yep.
I have coils that'll last me years, but
Yeah. Awesome.
it gives me something to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I was, as you were saying that, I was thinking to myself, when I was bored or had free time, I would roll cigarettes back in the day because I used to roll my own. So, that was that ceremonial process,
Exactly. Something to do with my hands that
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing is it gave me something to do with my hands.
Yep.
I mean, idle hands find trouble. So if I'm doing something, then I'm not going to get in trouble, especially with my wife.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I knock down the wall and watch DIY, and all of a sudden it's, oh, I can do that. I can't do that.
Yeah. Would you call yourself an addictive, natured person?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, 100%. I know that I have an addictive personality.
Yeah.
That's why I stay away from any pain medication or anything like that, because I know I have that type of personality that would just get sucked into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I feel the same. But I would also probably, debate the point that I could give it up or get, like, nicotine, vaping. Then there's peanut butter.
right. Yeah. Just give it all up. It's fine.
Yeah. What are you vaping on right now, my friend?
I actually have the Blotto on the Squid Double Barrel V3,
Samurai.
and yeah, the honestly my favorite regulated mod right now, and this is the first tank that I've bought in 3 years, and this is the most I've used one. It is damn good.
I may have snap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was surprised with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I openly admit that there is only like literally one other tank that has stuck with me, and that's not even a DTL. It's an MTL tank, and in everybody's subjective opinion about how things vape is always very different, very subjective. But
Yeah,
this is the first one that's provided me with like what I like in an RDA vape. So I'm surprised. I can't
exactly.
put it down either, man. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the longest that I've not had a Titan in my hand in a long time.
Sometimes change is good.
Yeah,
Yeah. So the shelf, so all the Titans are on the shelf, and you're rocking one mod.
yeah. All my Titans are. I have a closet back here, and
Yep.
all my Titans are up on the top shelf.
Yep.
I think
Nice.
they're getting lonely.
So, are you the kind of person to just rock one mod, or you have 5 setups on the go?
Tenley. Normally, it's just one. I pick one for a week, and I'll use that for a week, and then I'll clean it out, put it away, and grab another one. But normally, that's just, oh, I'm putting this Titan away. I'm grabbing this Titan just because it's a different color.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, other than that, I do have my K fund that I was rebuilding, but I still haven't found the perfect build for that one yet.
It's hard to find an MTL build, right? I've been doing the same with my two. Like I got the Mr. Legion was very kind to send me the new Berserker RDA, and
Hmm.
I must have put 6 different builds at different resistances in there to just try and find that one that's like that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
I tend to find one that's like that'll work for maybe a day, and then nope.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. And now I'm before I was doing, Dimitri kind of gave me some hints and tips, and then I was like, yes, and then I was like, no, no,
Right? Yeah.
yeah, but
I've probably watched every video on MTL that I can find, and I can't find one yet.
yeah, I was doing or trying to do like tiny exotic builds because I thought that was going to be the situation, and I end up coming back to always simple round wire.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I went out and I bought some 30 gauge and wrapped it with 40 gauge for dual fused Claptons to put in there.
yep.
Uh, no, that didn't work. I I mean it worked, but it wasn't good.
Yeah. Yep. 28 gauge is where I'm seeming to be landing. It's just now how many wraps I like.
Yep.
Yep. But do you experiment between nichrome and canthol, stainless steel?
It's mainly nichrome that I use. I use some Camthol for my buddy when I build for him.
Yep.
I use because he prefers the higher resistance. So I'll use Camthol for him, but generally I use nichrome. I've tried stainless steel, but I got kind of a metally taste from it.
Yep.
So I haven't used it since.
Yeah. Did you see the show that we did with Mr. Fresh this past Tuesday?
Yep.
Yeah, and it was interesting his thoughts on stainless steel, and he gets metal with everything else, but doesn't get it with stainless steel.
Yeah. I saw that and I'm like, but that's the only one that I get a metal taste from.
Yeah.
But
Subjectivity. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So also, I noticed that you have a small relationship with a your favorite e-liquid. Is that right?
Yes, with you got e juice.
Okay.
It's my favorite one. It's a frosted donut. I've probably had gallons of this stuff.
Yeah.
It it, it is my favorite flavor that I've found, and it's not everybody's cup of tea, really,
Yep.
but oh, it's so good.
Yeah. 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 I think I caught. Did you send Mr. Green some at some point?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. And pardon me for saying, he was his response like, it was okay.
Yeah, but he has his donut pounder that he likes,
Yeah.
and it's another donut flavor, but his donut has a little bit more cinnamon in it,
Yeah.
where this one doesn't have as much cinnamon.
Yeah.
So
I think when I was watching all of that, because I saw the previous, was either a vlog or something like that, and you had said it to him, and he was like, "I'll take you up on it." Is that right? Is that how that happened?
yep,
And then he got
yep,
it, and then I remember thinking to myself, that's one of those things when you want to share something with someone that you're so like, "Oh, this is it for me," and then they go,
yeah,
"Yeah, it's okay," and I was feeling for you, man, because I was like, I know that feeling.
yeah, yeah. I'm like, oh, it's my favorite ever. He's got to try it, and then he tried it, and he was like, it's all right.
Yeah.
It works.
I was there for you, man. I was there.
Yeah, I was a little took back by that one, but it's all
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I think the fact that because in my job, and I'd like to ask you about yours. I don't want to be talking about myself, but in my job, I've worked in coffee for over 20 years, like a long time, and I was thinking about this, only last week, is that I've spent that entire time asking people to try something that's better quality, or to open their mind to something else that's different. And
Yeah,
20 years later, we're still asking that same question of people, like, don't you want to have something that might be potentially better quality, or and
yeah,
it becomes tiring to do that. And now I'm really tangenting, but new to vaping and new to this industry, how old is vaping? It's 10 years, or just over 10
yeah.
years. And I really hope that it doesn't turn into that 10 years later, we're still asking people to,
Yeah,
open themselves to something better.
yeah, try something better for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. In North Dakota, like, explain the scene to me there, the smokers versus the vaping scene.
Smokers definitely outweigh vapors.
Yeah.
Um, most of the vapors here, we have a Air Force base here,
Yep.
so most of our vapors are out on the Air Force base. They're airmen, they're Army, so they're from all over. But anyone local, they're a smoker, and I've tried to convert as many people as I can. Convert sounds like a religion. I don't want to say that. Try to show them vaping.
Yeah.
And there's been a few people that they've taken it and it's worked for them, and then there's a few that just it's easier for them to grab a pack of smokes.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think that you know they still suffer the situation of, well, I've heard a little bit about this and it's, you know, it's no better or it's worse, you know?
I really haven't heard a whole lot of that up here. It's just up here everybody is kind of set in their ways
Yeah.
that this is the way it's done. This is what it is. If I'm going to smoke, I'm going to smoke cigarettes. I'm not going to go out and vape.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's the way everybody's done it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and you know, the whole youth thing, I don't even want to say the E word, but you know, are you seeing the youth thing you know, happening there?
there are some kids that I do see, but mainly they're digging butts out of the ashtray or something, and I got to chase them away from that. They're not buying e-cigs because I don't know. I don't know if it's just at my store because I work in a convenience store.
Okay.
So we card and check and everything. Everyone.
You're
I don't care
front
if you
line,
look.
Thomas.
Yeah, if you look younger than me, I want to see your ID.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody looks younger than me, so I check their ID.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to it, not many kids have $50 for a jewel.
Yeah.
But they're gonna dig butts out of the ashtray.
Yeah.
So I see that more than anything else. I do know that I have a daughter in high school that she says that she's seen her friends with a jewel. Kids are gonna be kids,
Yeah.
but I'm not that kid's parent.
Yeah.
I know my kids don't touch my vape stuff
Yeah.
because I've told them what it is. This is a vape. It's mine. It's so I don't smoke.
Yeah.
They leave it alone.
Yeah.
But it seems like the more you try and hide and demonize something, the more the kids want to do it.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to do when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, exactly. I think that it points out, you know, a very simple human interaction of let's talk about it. You know, let's talk about the pros and the cons. And you know, I'm sure you're probably also a very supportive person. Let's just say hypothetically that your daughter said, "I'd like to try it." You know, how would that go?
I mean, if she'd like to try it, she's 17. She'll be 18 in 3 months. I'd tell her to wait 3 months.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You have 3 months.
yeah,
If she was younger, say I have a 15-year-old. Oh, she just turned 15.
yeah,
And if she said, "Oh, I want to try it," well, why do you want to try it?
yeah,
Do you want to try it because your friends are doing it? Do you want to try it because you want to see what it is?
yeah,
Why do you want to try it?
yeah, yeah. That was a bit of not a loaded question. I'm not thinking of the right word because I can't brain this morning. But what I just wanted to show there was that, you know, that's just it. It's common sense and, you know, responsible humaning.
Exactly. Just talk to your kids.
Yeah.
So many people let the phone or the internet or whatever talk to their kids for them.
Yeah.
Talk to your kids. They're people.
Yeah. I can, you know, totally agree with that. My family is very addictive in nature is probably an easy way to say that. You know, in particular, Australian culture with alcohol was very heavy. So, you know,
Yeah.
I can remember from the earlier stages, and I'm not saying that this makes it right, but, you know, my grandfather or even my mum, you know, alcohol was always around. But I also have knowledge of talking about them talking about alcohol with them from as early as I can remember. So I personally never went through that. I never drank until I was 16, and then I just, spanked it, because I was like, everyone's doing it. I've got to do it. There's
Yeah,
like a respect or at least some knowledge, even if you haven't tried it yourself, right? And the same
yeah,
applies in this subject. Yeah.
yeah. And my family was the complete opposite. My mom would never talk about alcohol. Alcohol was the devil. Don't do it. Don't touch it. It's wrong.
Yeah.
As soon as I turned 13 and we sleeping over at a buddy's house, we got hammered on some Goldschlager. It was bad,
Yeah.
but it was because I was told, "Don't touch it. It's the devil. It's bad. Leave it alone."
Yeah.
I want to see what's so bad about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna fall over so I can pick myself up again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's just the way I've always been. It's like you tell me no, I'm gonna do it anyways
Yeah. Yeah.
because I want to know why. Why is it so bad?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
The situation of you saying, you're well, you are in the front line. Like if you're in a store, because that for someone who's not in the US, that's the stuff that I read about is the problem with non-vape industry stores selling those
yeah,
products and all that situation. I mean, you're a test case. You're that whole
yeah.
situation. Are they big sellers? Do you have a local vape store that's
Uh,
around?
we do have two vape stores that are here in town. We have one on either side of town, and they're all right. They sell here's the smoke tank
Yep.
V27. Here, take that. And they're very much not hobbyist, which is fine. I get all of my hobbyist vapor stuff online.
Yep.
They're not there for me. They're there for everybody else who wants to try and quit smoking.
Yep.
So when I have people come to my store and they're buying jewel pods, I say, you know what? If you want to save a little bit of money, there's these vape stores.
Yep.
You can go there. And so I'll do that. And kind of going back to me being on the front line, I do hear it a lot. Well, convenience stores need to card people more. If it was their livelihood on the line, then they would card more. That's not necessarily true because I know that here in my town that there are two different agencies that do like tobacco checks. We have the local police department, and then we have the FDA that does their check.
Yep.
Um, if you fail either one of those, you'll lose your tobacco license. It's a $5,000 fine for the store, a $500 fine for the person who sold it,
Yep.
and you lose your job. So you do lose your livelihood. It's just
Yeah.
whether or not people care.
Yep.
You have to have people who give a shit
Yeah.
and actually do their job and card. If they don't care, they're not going to card. They don't care if they lose the job. They'll just go someplace else.
Yeah. That surprises me that the police are enforcing that as well. Like that kind of sounds foreign to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they come in, they have their little operation that they do. They send someone in, try and buy something. If you don't check their ID, the police come in, give you a ticket, the fine, and everything else like that.
Yep.
When the FDA does theirs, you don't really know until about a month later when you get that stern letter saying you violated the rules of carding and we're revoking your tobacco license for 3 months.
Wow.
So it's crazy.
Yeah. Have you had personal experience where FDA staff have come to your store?
Yes,
Crazy.
and luckily we at my store we've passed
Yep.
because I like to make sure that all of my employees know that check IDs. It's easy. It takes 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Ask for ID. Look at the date of birth. Look at the picture. You're good.
Yep.
Because if you don't, you're the one who's paying the fine. You're the one who's losing your job.
Yeah.
So check IDs. All of my employees check IDs.
Yeah.
We've had one business in town that they failed 3 times. If you fail 3 times, your tobacco license is revoked completely. You can't get it back. And when you're doing $3,000 in tobacco sales a day,
Yeah.
that's what's keeping your business going. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, you can't do that anymore. Then
Yeah.
everybody loses their job.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's the thing that I struggle to understand. It's a basic situation of a law, whether or not you like the law, or, is that's not your business. The situation is, ask a simple question, like you said, 3 seconds, 3 seconds
yep,
that takes. I mean, what that person
exactly.
does with the product afterwards is not your concern. It takes 2 seconds
It,
and it's
yeah,
done.
look at ID, make sure it's good. You're good.
Yeah.
It's not your job to sit there and scrutinize and go, oh, this might be fake.
Yeah.
That's not what they're checking. They're not checking to see if you're checking for fake IDs.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're just want you to look at it and see if they're old enough.
Yeah, it's but there's a lot of shake my head moments in the in the stuff we read.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So if I was to take all of your Titans and your double barrel V3 there with the blotto away, what in the in the world of vaping right now would you want to turn to try?
Wow, that's a really hard one. I don't know if there's been anything new that's really like excited me. Like, ooh, I gotta try that. Except for the blotto.
Yep.
I saw that and like, I really want to try that.
Yeah.
But most of the stuff that I get to give away. I buy 15 starter kits every once in a while and kind of give them to people. Well, I don't give them to people. I make them pay $1 because it's something about if you give something to someone, they don't care. Like, well, I got it for free. Oops, I don't care.
Yeah.
But if they have to pay something for it,
Yeah.
then it gives some kind of merit to it.
Yeah.
So they treat it a little bit better. They try a little bit harder. And I've gotten a few people to switch that way, but I don't know.
That's an
I don't.
amazing thing, Thomas. That's amazing. You do that out of the goodness of your own heart because you want to share something with someone or make them look for something better in their own life. And you do that. That's incredible.
It's just something that I want to show people that, like, just because you're giving up smoking doesn't mean you have to give up nicotine.
Yeah.
That's why I like this. I wanted to get away from smoking. I
Yeah.
didn't want to give up nicotine.
Yeah.
So if I can show someone, hey, try this, you can still have your nicotine. Your lungs won't turn black and
Die.
you won't die.
Yeah.
But I guess kind of going back to your question about what would I have, what would I try if you took all my stuff away? Can I just rebuy more Titans?
No, they've been taken off the market. They stopped production.
Um,
And you can't try and build one either. It's a jewel, isn't it? You're going back to jewel.
yeah, yep. I would go back to a jewel, back to that $200 e-cig that I bought from China.
$200.
Yeah, $200, and it was garbage.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd probably just buy a mech.
Yep.
I mean, that was my first kind of vape love was a mech, so I'd probably just buy a mech and a new RDA, probably that Passage one that you're so fond of.
You know, I must take into account that that is totally a subjective opinion, you know, and I have suggested it to a couple of people and they're like, it's not for me, like, you know, and I get that heartbreak of like, but it's the best, you know. Yeah. Let's go to so $200 for a device that you were buying from a foreign country that possibly could have been lost in the mail. You know, when you received it, were you still dual using? You know, was that the thing that made you give up?
Yeah, I was dual using for a while. I was dual using for about a year.
Yep.
I would kind of vape when I was at home, and then I would smoke when I was at work. But it kind of got to the point where I was still smoking 2 packs a day.
Yeah.
And that's 2 packs a day in a 10-hour period while I was at work, and just kind of vaping while I was at home. And so it wasn't really cost effective because I wasn't saving any money.
Yeah.
Because I was still having to buy cartridges from China.
Yeah.
And I'm still buying cartons of cigarettes.
So I've doubled my expenditure.
Exactly. I've doubled what I was normally spending.
Yeah.
And then my buddy showed me the sub-ohm tank, and I kind of tried to pull on it the same way that I did my little e-cig that I got. And I thought I was going to die because I kept on coughing. It's like, what the hell? And then I realized it's like, oh, okay, so it's not mouth to lung. I don't use this like a cigarette.
Yeah.
I just breathe in.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then I was using 24 milligram in a sub tank.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I was definitely getting my nicotine fix. And then I got my dripper, and then I was dripping 12 milligram for a while.
Yep.
And then after that, it just kind of, okay, well, I don't really need 12 milligram anymore.
Yeah.
And I tried going to 0 for a while, and that was okay. But it's like, no, I like nicotine, so I'm just going to go back to 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where I've been, is 3, and I don't plan on going down to 0 or anything.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And your your K fund situation, are you where are you at for Nick level with that?
With my K fund, I have what is it? 12 milligram.
Yep. Yep. Awesome. I myself have found my happy spot. It all happened pretty quickly, but I was very different with the first time I got a device. It was like an instant change. Like from that moment I took my first toot, I never went back to a cigarette. Not even like, oh, should I try it just to see? Is it this much better? But I also feel very lucky that I got to start vaping at a time when devices were pretty amazing, like the experience of it.
Yeah.
And I think that when I talk to smokers now, it's that situation of my turning point was can't provide me with something as good as or better than what I currently have. Whether it in this case cigarettes, I'm not going to change. And I feel very lucky to walk into technology at 2 years ago, because like you say, you spent a couple $100 on a device it wasn't that thing that made you go, yes, okay, we're ready to
Yep.
change, Yeah. So
Yep.
the potential of all of these smokers that still surround us, their experience from first go, is much better, high, or what would I call it, high success rate than
Yep.
than what you had to go through, or
Yep.
previous years. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I still think that's $200 well spent. I'm sure it hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. It hurt, but I mean that's another thing that's back in the cabinet. It's on the bottom shelf. I still have it.
Yep.
I spent $200 on it. I'm not going to get rid of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't work anymore, and I'm not going to buy any cartridges for it. But damn it, I spent $200 on it, so I'm keeping it.
Yeah, yeah. I was looking at your shirt there, and that's a Mr. Vinyl and Vapor shirt. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
The resistance, absolutely.
The resistance.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you have any thoughts on this whole situation of us talking, or the community talking about the echo chamber, and people posting things that are just going to be reposted, and that we're preaching to the choir, and do you think there's valid reason in posting hints and tricks and tips, and that's only going to be seen by similar people?
I mean, it helps because, yeah, it's going to be seen by similar people, and sometimes it's repetitive seeing the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But sometimes if one person that kind of just goes, eh, and they keep on seeing it and seeing it and seeing it, it's really not that hard to just kind of repost it on your personal page.
Yeah.
Like it's a good thing to post it in vape groups, but yeah, we've seen it 100,000 times.
Yeah.
But what about your auntie and your uncle and your grandma and your nieces and nephews? They haven't seen this.
Yeah.
Post it on your personal page. Let your family know what vaping has done for you.
Yeah.
I know for the longest time I had on my banner on my Facebook that said, vaping changed my life, ask me how.
Yeah.
So that way my family, my extended family could, if they see anything about vaping, well, he vapes, we'll ask him.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that got me unfriended or unfollowed by a majority of my family, but
Really?
yeah. A lot of them are very religious, so it's kind of black sheep, shun, hide. But
they
you
knew.
gotta try.
I'm sorry, I'm not. Yeah, I'm certainly not. There's no finger of accusation here at your family members, but did they not feel the same when you smoked?
Well, when I smoked, I didn't post about it.
Yeah.
There weren't pictures of me smoking. There weren't pictures of hand checks and liquid and stuff.
Yeah.
They had a vague realization. Well, yeah, he smokes, but
Yeah.
but when you try and post things and it's on their timeline, they freak out.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want this on my timeline.
Yeah.
Then ignore it.
Yeah.
Just go past it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah, I can. Well, I can add to that. I certainly have had dual, lives going on. I guess, and I have a personal page, and then I have, the current iteration of myself. I guess, and
yeah,
so many years of me smoking, I felt, like internal, and this is my personality. I felt shame, and I hid it from people, even though they could smell me walk, a mile away. That shame of being a smoker, like yeah. So it was very hard for me to tell people that I'd, switched to vaping, but I also wanted to tell the world so much,
Yeah.
because I wanted to share it with them, so I live with that struggle a bit, and that's just my own personal situation. But I think a lot of people have that. I was in a post office a little while ago sending a package, and actually, okay, I sent it to someone who had quite they're on their social media name is obviously, pretty significant. And this person
Hmm.
behind the counter said to me, "Oh, is this person a rock star?" And I was like, well, kinda. I said, they have a following online, and this
Yeah.
person, in my opinion, is an influential person, not in the term of influencer. That's a whole nother story, but an
Yeah.
influential person. And I'm sending them a product that I make. And
Yeah.
she said, what is it? And I said, oh, that feeling of dread. Oh my God, I'm going to be shamed because I'm going to start talking about my addiction.
Yeah.
And I said to her, well, do you know what an electronic cigarette is? And her face just changed. Like, it was like this feeling of relief, because she said, she interrupted me straight away, and she was just like, I've been a smoker for, 30 years, and my whole family is shunning me. I want to give up, and I want to do all these things. Can I ask you some information? And like, from that moment, the whole conversation
Yeah.
changed.
Yeah.
And this woman like started to tear up as she was telling
Yeah.
me her shame, and her wanting to change. And I was just like, my shame is nothing compared to this, like
Yeah.
so I, gave her my number, and straight away, like, whatever you want to ask, and I gave her, she
Yeah.
never called, but like, I think the reality was that was a bigger, is the word poignant, poignant moment, that
Yeah.
maybe that was her turning point. And, I hope that she went to that store that I suggested, or that online situation, and
Yeah.
read about it. And, yeah, it's a huge thing. Like, if we could bottle up all of these like negative emotions and turn that into, how do we tell the story?
Exactly.
It's a huge amount of energy.
Yeah. I know. I was actually at the optometrist the other day, and it was really weird because I sat down and they started the examination, and they asked, "Well, are you the one that opened that vape shop?" No. I didn't have my device with me. I wasn't wearing any vaping propaganda or anything. And I'm like, that's a really weird question to ask.
And you're stereotyping me.
Exactly. And then I went into the other room, and the optometrist came in, and she was sitting there, and she brought up vaping again. And I'm like, what? It's just really weird to have two questions like that in a row.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, why? What can I just ask? Why are you asking me? And she showed me my file, and it said Thomas Crow Vapor as my name. And I'm like, okay, well, why do you have that? They're like going, oh, well, when you quit smoking, we didn't have a box to check for smoking, non-smoking, or vaping, so we just kind of added it to the end of your name. I'm like, okay, can you take that off? And then I got some actual really good questions from them, because of course they see all the news right now, all these 100 and something people that got injured buying fake cardos on the street corner.
Yeah.
And so it was really nice to kind of give information to her. And she called some other people in the office that were talking about it, because apparently they were still talking about, oh, the vapor that's getting his eyes checked. And I have a small room with like four people in it, and I'm explaining, okay, there's two types of vaping. Is just a term. You can vape anything,
Yeah.
But what these people were using was like K2 THC bootleg cartridges, and there's oil in them. And if oil gets in your lungs, that's bad.
Yeah.
Where with vaping, we don't use any oil. It's vegetable glycerin, propylene glycol, flavorings, and nicotine.
Yeah.
Sometimes. It's not
Yeah.
always. And to be able to give these middle-aged moms kind of some reality rather than brain poison
Yeah.
was kind of nice.
Yeah.
So it was just odd that I got those questions. Oh, well, vaping. Why do you put vapor next to my name? But then to be able to educate them
Yeah.
and for them to be, oh, okay, well, we're just going to take this off of your name and just leave it as non-smoker.
That's also probably a big thing as well that they, because I also have an optometrist story, but they you know, from a medical point of view, there's nothing, you know, other than a sight issue, you know, there's nothing, no markers that they could be like, well, that's attributed to you being a vapor, you know, or this damage
Exactly.
is attributed to you being a vapor, you know.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing. And I also think, you know, those are the kind of people that we need to be talking to, is the person that looks after your health, you know.
Yeah.
But interesting mindset that, you know, they needed to associate you with a certain thing that someone does to themselves, because that's obviously going to change, you know, the medical history. And, you know,
Right.
these new glasses were a visit to the optometrist like literally 2 months ago. Same thing. I went to see a new optometrist, and they were doing the scan of the eyeball, like the back of your eye. Is that not your retina scan? It's basically the scan to check if you have completely blank damage to the nerves on the back of your eye.
Yep.
The word with the M, I can't remember. Anyway,
Yeah, I'm blank.
And they were doing the scan, and it shows the veins and the nerves and everything. And I was looking at the computer screen, and I was like, "Do you know that I was a smoker?" And the optometrist said, "Oh, I actually know." And I said, "Oh, that's good," you know. And I said, "I haven't smoked in, you know, it's coming up soon to 2 years." And the woman, sorry, the optometrist said, "Oh, that's awesome, you know, like really, really good." I didn't tell her that I was a vapor, but I was just like, "Oh, okay." So there's, you know, for myself personally, there's been no damage to, you know, like to my 20 years of smoking. She's like, "Well, not that I could see, you know."
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty interesting, because, you know, here is a you know, a trained professional, and we talk about, you know, the optometrist that I went to before, it said, well, you know, you're in your 40s, and, you know, you're smoking, so you should stop doing that because of the damage and this, that, and the other. And, you know, common perception of combustible use and all that sort of thing. And I don't want to discount how bad it is for you, but it was very, very interesting for, you know, someone like that, an optometrist, to go, I didn't even know, you know. Yeah.
Yep.
That's a huge thing. See, another thing, you're an amazing human, Thomas.
Thank you.
Yeah. The stuff I see on like cultural clouds and you know, the Facebook groups and all of that situation, you know, it's a two-pronged question. That gives you obviously a lot of joy, because you put your time and effort into those things, you know, and you know, I have a problem wording my questions, because it's always like 20 thoughts that go into one.
That's all right. I'm the same way.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's a certain situation of, you know, I'm there to engage with the community, or I'm there to, you know, show my knowledge, or I'm there to just participate, you know, like, because did you set that up?
Yeah, I set it up because somebody asked, well, there should be a Culture Clouds Facebook group.
Yeah.
And I'm like going, well, yeah, why isn't there one?
Yeah.
and somebody said, "Oh well, I'll do it. I might do it." And I was on my lunch break at work, and I just said, "Well, screw it. If you're not going to do it, I'll just do it."
Yep.
So I just started. I have no idea what I'm doing. I just I just figured, okay, well, I'll put it up there, and like a couple people that listen to Culture Clouds will kind of pop on there
Yep.
and join, and someone else to talk to about all kinds of things. It's not just vaping, because they don't just talk about vaping. They talk about everything,
Yep.
which is kind of nice. It's just the only rule is like just don't be a dick, which I mean is main rule for life. Just don't do it. Like
Yep.
if you have a problem with that person, walk on the other side of the street. You don't have to be a jerk to them.
Yeah.
Just ignore it and move forward with your life. So cultural clouds is just it's just a fun little outlet. You get some vape stuff, you get some music, you get lots of dog and cat pictures and memes and all kinds of things. And like the other
Coffee
day we
mugs.
have coffee mugs, lots of coffee mugs.
Yeah.
Some guy's showing off with his Photoshop and his fake coffee. But like the other day we had one of our members. She was having a bad day, and she just kind of posted, I'm having a bad day. Like, just show me memes, show me jokes, show me quotes, just whatever you got. And I think we're up to like 40 something comments on that thread,
Yeah.
just to make someone smile.
Yeah.
And it made her day. It made her feel better. And it's nice being nice.
Yeah.
That sounds really like 90s family TV show, but it is. You can walk around and you can be mean and mad and annoyed at the world all the time, or you can just try and be nice and don't be a dick, and
Yeah.
you're good.
Man, that was passed to me as well. Someone in the southern hemisphere that I've not laughed that hard in a long time. I pretty much soiled my pants when I was reading some of those memes. Unbelievably funny.
Right?
Yeah. I almost wanted to send a message to the person who requested it in the first place to be like, thank you. Thank you for asking that question.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it helped more than just her. It helped several people.
Yeah.
I mean, I had fun going through Google trying to find anything that could make someone laugh,
Yeah.
or quotes, and I even found a few that I was looking through, and it just kind of went, huh. And that made me feel better. I didn't post it on the thread. It was something for me, and it made me feel better at that time. It's like,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. It's a journey for everyone, and even though we talk about it as a support network, so to speak, an unofficial support network, that's really what it
Yep.
is. Whether it inspires thought or humor or the feels, like it's an amazing thing, and I can't say that I have ever experienced this kind of full on help, or words, or here's some advice, or like all of those things in that category. Like I haven't experienced this in my life, and it's been the ride has been awesome. 2 years of just like, I think my brain waves have like certainly increased because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an incredible thing. Did have what did Nick and Ruby, say about, you setting up that page? Were they grateful? Were they like?
I know that they've said it a few times that they're really grateful that somebody set it up. I know that they've mentioned it a few times on their podcast that, thanks for having him. Thanks, Thomas Crow, for setting it up. And I like that. Of course, it makes me feel good that like they're enjoying something that I made for them, so that way they can have a direct line to the
Yeah.
people that kind of listen.
Yeah.
Because you really don't have that on Instagram.
Yeah.
You can kind of flip through and see pages and pictures and stuff like that, but you don't have like direct interaction, where on there they can have direct interaction with their fans.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It could be also hard to, you know, fine tune the noise sometimes when there's, you know, a lot of people probably vying for your attention. And, you know, I couldn't imagine, you know, having that many followers and opening Instagram and just being bombarded with the Christmas
exactly.
notifications, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just their little place that, you know, if they want to reply to something, they'll reply to it. They don't have to. No one, you know, you don't have to reply to everybody on here, but it's just something for them where they can kind of go through, and maybe they'll get an idea for a show or
Yeah. Yeah.
something.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, you know, I say thank you as well, because you know what it's given me is, you know, well, I want to give some back too. I don't want to just be taking, but you know, it's certainly given me a lot, and yeah, serious laughs, really, really cool, and made me feel you know, part of something, I guess.
Yep.
That's the other thing that all of this has happened, you know, whether it's vaping or working on an addiction or friendship, you know, like that, there's a lot to be given and taken, you know, it's an incredibly rewarding experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Thomas, you're freaking amazing, and I want to say thank you. You know, thank you to you for what you've done and what you've inspired, and you know, for just, I mean, again, it's just you being you. You know, it's a hugely influential and inspirational thing. So, yeah, thank you.